One of you left this comment asking for help getting FSR4 working in Red Dead Redemption 2. And honestly, RDR2 is one of those games where it is not as straightforward as just dropping files in a folder. So today, let's see if we can make it happen. Step by step, no guessing, no hand waving, nothing. Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials and gaming simpler and better. Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the best looking games ever made and still one of the most demanding titles you can throw at your hardware in 2026. But, you know, if you are on AMD and not running RDNA 4, the upscaling options are, let's just say, they could be better. Today we're going to baseline the game in its vanilla state, see what options Rockstar gives us, and then we are going to try getting FSR4 running through OptiScaler. First, we will try OptiScaler-Client to see if the one-click approach works, and if it does not, we will go the manual following the official OptiScaler wiki instructions for this game specifically. And fair warning, RDR2 is known to be trickier than most games for this kind of setup, so this might get interesting. Alright, so let's take a look at what the game gives us out of the box. And actually, RDR2 has a pretty solid selection of graphical options, so let me just run the game over here. And then if we go into our settings and then we go into graphics, you can see I am running this at 1080p, it's in windowed borderless, we have triple buffering on. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that we have this nice little slider that lets you prioritize performance or visual quality basically, and then we have a lot of options like texture quality and isotropic filtering. A lot of these things are in ultra settings, I believe, and then as you can see, we have some stuff set to medium. I just reinstalled the game, so I don't know if this is basically the default settings. And then as you can see, the only upscaler we have is AMD FSR2, and then we get access to the sharpening technology by AMD, and then we have three options for anti-aliasing. Basically, we get TAA, FXAA, and MSAA. TAA is the way to go in this game. It has a lot of the effects kind of built in, and then we can unlock, you know, the advanced settings if we need to. We could just unlock everything. The game natively runs in Vulkan. So let me just do the left shift over there and see what is what. I think everything is just on the default settings. Nothing really changed over here, and FSR remained off, and everything else is where it was before. What we can do is basically just tell the game to favorite quality instead of, you know, have a balanced experience. And I'm gonna apply that change. I'm gonna say yes. I don't know exactly why we're not in full screen windowed borderless. Let's try that. And this kind of works. Okay. But yeah, for our testing, I'm maxing out in the default setting, basically the slider to favorite quality, and everything else I'm gonna be living at the default settings, which is a mix of high or ultra. A lot of them are ultra settings and some of them are high, and then particle quality set to medium. These are the defaults, so we're gonna use this as our baseline. Kind of disappointing that we are only getting the AMD FSR2, and yes, you heard me right, FSR2 in 2026. The game has seen a lot of updates, but we have to remember it's kind of an old release, right? So even in 2026, even though it's an old game, we have had a lot of major updates, but we haven't seen an update in FSR, unfortunately. And so I'm gonna test this in native resolution first to establish a baseline, and then probably we're gonna go with some of the FSR2 presets. But yeah, first of all, let's check this out. I'm gonna go back. Okay, so if we want to establish our baseline, I've gone through the whole opening. So we are in chapter 2, so we have entered Valentine, and we're gonna do a walk around. I've manually saved the game so we can basically reload whenever we need and do our little run around and check out the baseline for our performance basically. So let's go on ahead and walk around town over here. But yeah, it does look a little bit smeary, and I think that was a pretty big gripe of mine with this game. But yeah, we're getting over 100 FPS over here. Not looking too shabby. Doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good. These branches look a little, you know, weird over here. Other than that, the game looks spectacular as always. And yeah, we are maintaining an above 100 FPS performance in general over here. Actually, this is a good run around over here, but yeah, we maintain above 100 FPS the whole time, so that's pretty good. So let's see, FSR, we can go to quality, balanced, performance. Okay, so these are our options. Let's go with quality, and then let's go with 5 steps of sharpening over here. I'm gonna say yes, and let's see how this looks with FSR on quality. Doesn't look too bad, but obviously the picture becomes a little bit unstable, and we are at above 130 FPS, 140 right now. But yeah, 130 FPS experience is pretty nice, and we didn't lose a lot of graphical fidelity. The quality preset is pretty nice. It is sharp, but we do get instability and a lot of disappearing textures over here, instability on the ground, as you can see over here. We're gonna complete our round, and yes, the plant life also unfortunately becomes a little weird over here. Oops, let me go around. Took a little bit of a different route, but yeah, we're maintaining well above 120 FPS with this preset. Let's go through this side of town, which is the busiest part, and again above 115 FPS in general, while before over here we dropped down to 98. I think that was the lowest part. It does look sharper. Unfortunately, we do get the picture instability, shimmering, and disappearing textures, which are problems even with FSR 3.1.5, which is the maximum FSR version we can run on basically cards like RX 6000, RX 7000, which are RDNA 2 and RDNA 3. And yeah, officially we don't have access to RDNA 4, unfortunately. Okay, 132 FPS over here. We're gonna go into settings, graphics, scroll down, and we're gonna go directly to the performance, and we're gonna bump it up to, let's say, 50%. We're getting 137 FPS. I mean, we do get the halo around the character, but overall it doesn't look too bad. We've had a lot worse experiences with FSR2 especially, but yeah, everything looks a lot more smeary right now. Halos around the character, a lot of staircasing effect. The sharpening filter is doing a good job, but yeah, we have a lot of shimmering and stuff, but obviously we didn't gain a lot in regards of performance. Let's walk through town. Let's go through the busiest part over here. 114. Yep, almost nothing has changed. 112. So yeah, as always, we do get some diminishing returns, and the game looks far worse. So this is what we have to deal with over here. These are the only options we get. So it's like TAA with native resolution, or we can use FSR2. These are the two options we get out of the box for Red Dead Redemption 2. So let's see what we can do to fix this. Now that we have our baseline, let's try the easy route first. OptiScaler-Client has been a one-click miracle for a lot of games, so let's see if it can handle Red Dead Redemption 2. And by the way, as always, you can find links for everything we are using today in the description below. Double-click on OptiScaler-Client over here, wait for it to load, obviously. So I would suggest we go into manage, because this game does run on Vulkan by default, and as you can see, we do get the 0.9.1 latest, and we have some suggestions from the developers of OptiScaler that we need to basically keep in mind, and these are directly from their own game compatibility wiki, as you can see over here. And these are the settings that are recommended. I'm just gonna try doing this the default way through winmm.dll and see if everything works with a one-click installation of OptiScaler-Client. If it doesn't, then we'll have to go the manual way. So let's go ahead and try this. So over here, I'm gonna click on the drop-down. I'm gonna select the winmm.dll. I'm gonna keep the FSR4.0.2c latest over here. OptiPatcher, we're gonna keep it at the rolling version, which is the latest, and I'm not gonna mess with anything else. And then I'm gonna press auto install over here. And now, as you can see, we do get the latest versions of FSR, winmm.dll, we have NukemFG installed and stuff like that. And we do get XCSS as well. Let's exit out of this one and this one. Now for the next step, I'm gonna run another of our favorite tools, which is DLSS-Swapper. What we're gonna do is click on Red Dead Redemption 2, and we can try updating the DLSS versions. And it's super handy, because if something breaks and the game doesn't work anymore, we can just click on this and then swap back to the default version the game was using. Close out of this one, and we're gonna try launching our game. Okay, we do get the OptiScaler pop-up on the bottom left of the screen, so let's see what happens next. And unfortunately, the game crashed. Let's try reloading the game once it's done. And I'm gonna try, instead of loading into a save file directly, going to the settings and see if we can somehow change some of the settings, especially the Upscaler, and see if that is gonna work for us. And here in graphics, we're gonna see what has changed after the installation. Yeah, this one says custom for some reason. Let's go to FSR. We're gonna go with off. Do we see DLSS? Now that we have disabled FSR, do we get DLSS? Not really. So I don't think this really worked, and we're gonna try doing it the manual way. So it has injected itself partially, but we have some issues. So first order of business, we're gonna click on the quick uninstall over here and make sure everything is cleared out. Exit out of this one, and through our game library on Steam, we're gonna click on this cog icon over here, manage, and then browse local files. I've manually downloaded OptiScaler, so we can just open this up using 7-zip or any other archiver software you like. And I'm basically going to select everything in here and then deselect the ones we're not going to use, like the README and the licenses, and then I'm going to drag and drop everything in here. And since we are trying to use FSR4 on RDNA2, I already have this downloaded over here. We have the FSR int 8 4.0.2c with RDNA2. You can download this. I think the easiest way is from the OptiScaler Discord channel. That's the easiest way. And we're going to replace the file in destination. And as you can see, we're instructed to install OptiScaler as OptiScaler.asi, and then we're going to need the ultimate ASI Loader as dinput.dll and use OptiPatcher, and our folder should look something like this. Let's go on ahead and prepare for this as well. Ultimate ASI Loader v9.7.1 is the latest. dinput.dll is the one we need. I'm gonna click on this, save this over here, and I'm gonna drag and drop this into my main installation folder. And I think that part is also done. I wanted to do this before I go through with the OptiScaler installation. So we need to make a selection over here. We're going to go with number 8, which is OptiScaler.asi. And then I'm going to press enter. It's asking us, as usually, if we're using an NVIDIA GPU or AMD Intel. I'm using AMD, so I'm going to go with number 1 and then press enter. Then will you try to use DLSS inputs and stuff? Go with option 2 over here because we don't want spoofing. OptiPatcher ASI, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to wait for this for a second here. And I didn't have to press any buttons to skip. It was successful. So I'm going to press any key to continue over here, and it is basically done. And as you can see, the picture over here says we have to have a plugins folder as well. Let me refresh over here. And as you can see, it has created a plugins folder. We should see the OptiPatcher.asi inside, but we do not. We could just try downloading this manually from their own link. So 040 is the latest version, and I'll just place it here manually. We do get the OptiScaler pop-up on the bottom left again. So let's see if this is going to give us the DLSS option now that we have manually installed this. Okay, let's press Z for settings over here. We're going to go into graphics and let's see if any of our options have changed. And we do see NVIDIA DLSS now. So this is a very welcome change. So we can go auto, ultra quality, quality balance, performance, and ultra performance, which is a really good test we like to do as a benchmark for the FSR4 Upscaler, basically in GeekJ. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna go with quality, and then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly the same amount we used when we were using FSR2, basically. And now we're gonna go with story. I'm gonna press enter and see if the game actually loads this time. Unfortunately, we don't get the OptiScaler menu if I tap on the insert key on my keyboard over here. Let's see what we can do about this. So the way I think I fixed it, if we go into the OptiScaler.ini over here, and then we look for load ASI plugins over here, it was set to auto, and as you can see over here, the default auto is false. So when I set it to true, I think it triggered, and now we do have the overlay over here. So if I press insert, ta-da, we do get the correct overlay over here. So as you can see, we are using FSR 3.x with DX12. And this is how we're tricking the game to use FSR 4.0.2c. while it's running on Vulkan basically. And I just unchecked the use FSR input values over here, and I think we're good to go. I'm gonna close out of this one, and yeah, as you can see, we are using FSR4 right now, and the input is DLSS, and the output is basically Vulkan FSR3 with DX12, and it is using the 4.0.c Upscaler over here. So we are seeing basically the benefits of FSR 4.0.2c in this game. And this is running, by the way, on performance. And we can test ultra performance, but if we want to have an apples to apples comparison to what we did earlier, this was the setting, but DLSS does offer an ultra performance option as well. So let me go on ahead and go close to the area we start our regular run. It does look pretty good for performance, basically. Kind of insane if you actually think about it. And we don't get a lot of that shimmering, maybe not at all. A very, very stable image, especially in the foliage and stuff. And as you can see, we are upscaling from 540p. And we could go lower, but this is a very, very stable image for 540p FSR4. But yeah, let's go into settings, and the way I would play the game would be on quality mode over here. So let me go on ahead and do that. So it does look similar to native performance-wise, but the image is a lot cleaner. And what we can do, which I forgot to do, is go back into graphics over here. We're gonna scroll down a little bit, and we're gonna set this to only 5 steps of sharpening, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's what we were using with quality mode before, so we can have a more apples to apples comparison. Yeah, the game still looks great, very, very good, and I don't see any staircasing effect while I'm moving the camera, even on the cables over here. Very stable image, and I do not see any disappearing textures, especially close to the transparency at the ends of the pixels of the textures. As you can see on the tree over here, we do not get that disappearing effect we did get even with TAA enabled, and that is really, really great news. Very stable image. I'm very impressed by this. Wow. Over 100 FPS, 120. Very, very good showing for FSR 4.0.2c. Very nice. I wish I had this when I was actively playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Very clear image, because the in-game TAA is very, very blurry, unfortunately, even when you're playing in a native resolution. So yeah, I'm very, very impressed. So impressed, I want to replay this game from start to finish. Wow. Yeah, look at the tree over there. That looks amazing. That is so good. So yeah, let's go through the changes. This isn't very scripted, so I might start it a lot or whatever and make pauses, but I want to give you guys the real-time experience and how I do things. Basically, we did install OptiScaler manually, and we did go with OptiScaler.asi as we are instructed over here from the wiki, but I can confirm these are kind of outdated information that they have over here, and we did need to change some stuff in the OptiScaler.ini manually to make the interface basically come up into the game. Also, we had to download the ultimate ASI Loader, and we used the input 8.dll, and its latest version. And also we did use OptiPatcher manually, because even though OptiScaler by itself didn't throw out an error, it did say it completed successfully. It did not put anything in the folder it created, plugins folder over here. and I just manually downloaded this and just drag and drop the ASI file over here. You don't need to rename it to OptiPatcher.asi. It works fine even with the underscore version and then .asi, as we saw while doing our rounds over here in the video. And the most important change I did make to make the menu actually appear was find this little option over here under plugins that is named load ASI plugins, one word, no spaces, equals true, because the default, as you can see, is set to auto, and auto is false as the info text says over here above this option. So we need to set this to true. But yeah, instead of the usual DLL, we did have to use the OptiScaler.asi and the ultimate ASI loader, and we had to do some manual downloads, but everything in the end actually worked pretty nicely. Now regarding frame generation, because I know some of you are going to ask about frame generation, I did look into it, and I would not recommend frame generation via OptiScaler on Red Dead Redemption 2 because we don't have an option in the game, so we cannot use the Streamline option. And then the other only option they suggest through OptiScaler is the OptiFG. And it is pretty weird because it requires running the game on DirectX mode, so DirectX 12 does have a lot of issues. So if you want to try it, I would probably suggest you use something like lossless scaling if you are playing the game in the lowest possible settings and you're still getting like 40 FPS, then yes, go on ahead and use lossless scaling. But still, I wouldn't go the route of OptiScaler and then using OptiFG. It didn't work well at all on my setup, at least. If you go DirectX 12, in most of the cases also, keep in mind you're just trading also a lot of base performance, especially on the 1% low, so you will get stutters and stuff, just to get generated frames on top of that, and the net result is usually not worth it in my opinion. For most setups, I think that if you just stick with Vulkan and then you put on top of that FSR4 upscaling, you can call it a day. The results are amazing, a lot better even than the built-in offerings and the native solution of TAA, which is kind of insane, but it does look a lot better. So basically that is the full RDR2 optimization path we can take, and my suggestion would be to baseline the game by yourselves, try OptiScaler-Client or go manual if needed. For me, OptiScaler-Client unfortunately never worked, whatever settings I chose over there, and it just worked with the recommendations they make in their own wiki, which is the ASI method and the ultimate ASI loader and stuff like that, as I showed in this video. I would skip frame generation. Shout out to Stephen Very for requesting this one, and this is exactly the kind of video I love making. So you ask and I try to help you guys out and deliver. If this helped you get a cleaner picture in Red Dead Redemption 2, smash that like button and subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a GeekJ video. If you want to take it further, consider joining the GeekJ squad for early access and exclusive perks, or drop a super thanks if you're feeling generous, of course. Now, massive shout out to my channel architects Paris STR and Kostas Dari. You guys are and will forever remain legends. Drop your results in the comments below, and I actually want to know what GPU you're using to run Red Dead Redemption 2 and if the FSR4 upgrade made a difference for you as well. Remember, I read every single one of your comments. That's it, guys. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.